And what's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of that Dynamite review show on the Tricology News Talk. And for today, we're gonna have a stacked show. We just came off the heels from the for Revolution, and in case y'all didn't miss it, I did a pay-per-view review on it on the Respect the Combat podcast. It's a RTC exclusive. We're weekly for. Well, mostly for more monthly, as I say, for pay-per-view. So if you have not checked it out, go check it out. It's available on Anchor, Spotify, and other podcast platforms. And we also discussed it more on our weekly episodes. This coming episode on the Respect Your podcast, which is going to be uploaded on Fridays at 8 p.m. So don't forget to check that out. So yeah. So for today's episode, we're gonna go over the Revolution results, and then we're gonna go get straight into the Dynamite review. But before we get into that, let's as you already know, let's welcome our lovely and our distinguished co-host, Mr. Leland Benford. What's up, bro?
What is good, everybody? We are coming off a monster of a show. And then this show last night, starting up some new rivalries, starting up some new storylines. I always love the Dynamite after their big pay-per-views because we get to see who's going to be in a new fight. Who are we going to follow for the next couple of months and see how their story progresses. And that's exactly what happened last night. How's it going, Trico?
Everything's going good. And now we are on the road for Double or Nothing, which is going to be on Sunday, May 28th on Memorial Day weekend. And let me tell you something. It's going to be packed. You know why? Because WWE already announced a pay-per-view on that Saturday, which is the King and Queen of the Ring. So Memorial Day is going to be packed. Just like WrestleMania weekend, just all I got to say, just be prepared. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, yeah, it's about to be some packed stuff happening. I'm going to be in Detroit in May, so I'm going to try to catch the Dynamite show that's happening there on May 10th, which is only 3 days before my birthday. So I'm going to be, trying to go to that show and have a good birthday weekend there.
That's what's up. That takes some pits, man, so we can check them out. But yeah, let's get into What you gonna say?
What did you think about Revolution?
Oh man, I say we only in 2023 right now, and I still say it's one of the best shows of the year. But we'll just have to wait and see what Double or Nothing does, what Forbidden Door does, All Out, and Full Gear. We starting out right in 2023. But my opinion can change. But for right now, it's still one of the best shows of the year for AEW right now.
Yeah, definitely a great show. It was a spectacle. I mean, so many highlights of the night. And I know we're going to talk briefly about some of these. But yeah, just some of my favorite moments, definitely the Iron Man match. That was fire. The Trios Championship, what a match there. But yeah, let's get into it. Let's go over the results.
Okay, in the 0 hour, we had Mark Briscoe and the Lucha Bros defeating Ari Daivari and the Varsity Athletes and Josh Woods and Tony Nese. And so that was the 0 hour. And to open Revolution, we had Ricky Starks defeating Chris Jericho. Then we had Jungle Boy Jack Perry defeating Christian Cage in a fire burial match, which is kind of like a burial light match, but I said in my review the way they had it set up, it was kind of similar to the old SmackDown versus Raw games, and you played the burial light match. Like they had the burial site, but on top of it, like you had the casket on there.
I really liked on that match when Jungle Boy closed the casket. He how the casket just dropped down into the ground. That was pretty cool.
And then we had the House of Black defeating the Elite, winning the AEW World Trios Championship. Jamie Hayter retained her women's world title against Saraya and Ruby Soho. But at the end of it, Ruby Soho joins the Outsiders, and we'll have to see where that going to leave off. and which we're going to get to in the Dynamite review. Heyman Adam Page defeated Jon Moxley in the Texas Death Match. Wardlow defeated Samoa Joe to win the TNT Championship. The Guns retained their AEW Tag Team titles against the Acclaim, Jay Lethal, Jeff Jarrett, and Orange Cassidy and Danhausen in the Fatal 4-Way. And then in the main event, MJF defeated Bryan Danielson 4-3 in sudden death overtime in their 60-minute Iron Man match to retain the AEW World Championship.
All right, so here's my opinion of Revolution. It was great. I had a great time watching this pay-per-view. It gave me all the things I like about AEW. So I'll do a quick kind of like breakdown. I think Ricky Starks going over on Jericho was the best call. And it was Ricky Starks doing it on his own, even though there was some interference. But it was Ricky Starks going over, which got a big pop, and they did have a really good match. My other highlight of the night was Saraya, Toni Storm, and Ruby Soho joining up to become a faction. I like that they're going with the DX green and black. I like seeing those colors. And I think that's also cool. They're doing the NWO spray paint thing with the L's for loser. So I think they're building up to do a nice originals versus outsiders rivalry that I can see going on for a minute and not getting stale. I think they are doing something good for the women's division. Other highlight of the night was definitely the trios match with House of Black getting the belts. This match was incredible. I really want to see a one-on-one with Kenny Omega and Buddy Matthews and Kenny Omega and Malachi Black. I would love to have both of those matches soon, please. And also with the trios thing, I was kind of wishing that Kenny Omega goes single, and then what happened on Dynamite, which we'll get to, I was like, no, stay as a trio. I really like it. But it also helps him, save some years on his career by not having to get the full blunt of a match. Even though he's working just as hard, but he does have those moments where he can rest, and that's going to help him later on in his career. And then also the Texas Death Match, fire. It was the moment where Hangman was in the triangle and Moxley was stabbing him with the fork, and you can see the blood gush out of Hangman's head. I mean, that's what you want as a wrestling fan, right? Am I wrong? That's what you want as a wrestling fan. You hate to see it, but you love when it's done. That match was a banger. They really went all out. I thought Moxley was going to take a break after this match, and I was wrong because he was right there again on Dynamite. But that match was a very special one. I think that's a match people go back and watch and like, geez, they was going at it. The tag team match was fun. It was good for what it was. Trico, do you remember when I said I didn't want to see Jeff Jarrett mix it in with all the other talent, that it should just be him versus Sting?
Oh, we're going to talk about Jarrett later on. We're going to talk about that.
Yeah, but I want to talk about Jeff Jarrett at Revolution. Do you remember when I was saying that, though? I didn't want to see Jarrett with other talent.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh, okay. I have changed my mind. I am over. Jeff Jarrett has won me over with his old school Carney way wrestling and doing all the tricks in the books. But he has won me over. I'm happy to see him mixing it around with all these young guys because he is a true veteran in that group, right along with Jay Lethal. But I think these young guys are going to learn a lot from working with guys like Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal. But the tag team match was good. Ass Boys still on top. Did you see that little memo that went around on Twitter that the Ass Boys put out before Revolution?
Yeah, I did see that.
That was hilarious. That was really funny. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, the As Boys had taped up little memos in the crowd sections and the audience areas before the show. And it said that please keep down the ass boy chants. because AEW is having an issue hearing them. So please keep it down. And they know that they came there to see them. Definitely go read it. I'm not doing it any justice, but go read it when you get a chance. It was a pretty good rib on the crowd. But yeah, and then the ladder match, MJF versus Danielson. Wow, what a ladder match! I mean, not ladder match, Iron Man match. What am I talking about? What an Iron Man match this was. 60 minutes, two of the best. MJF stayed right along in there. He did take a couple of water breaks. I didn't see the oxygen can or oxygen tank coming into play. I wish they kind of introduced that a little earlier so we could have known where it was coming from. But the match itself was really, really good. So Revolution was definitely a big win for AEW. A lot of great matches, a lot of good memories, a lot of good moments that I think we're going to be talking about for. But that brings us to last night's episode of Dynamite. Now that Revolution is open, how much has changed in the AEW environment? We have new champs. I didn't mention Wardlow versus Samoa Joe, but Wardlow was the new champ for a moment. Trico, what about Dynamite? Let's start it out.
Yeah. Before we get to Dynamite, I want to give you the one question. During the Iron Man match, did you see where MJF poured water on the kid?
We did see that. That was a big moment. Did you hear about what happened afterwards?
Yeah. And when you first saw that, do you think it was staged or you think that was real? Do you think that was staged?
I was watching that match with my wife, and she was very shocked by MJF throwing the water on the kid. And she was so much shocked. I was like, oh, I think it's staged. But I don't know. I think MJF is just that type of heel. And the kid got a chance to meet Powerhouse Hobbs. He got a chance to go backstage. He got, autographs. So, they did what they could to make up to the kid, but I don't know if it was staged or not.
Nah, they said
that's the best thing about wrestling.
Nah, they said they wasn't staged. And people on social media was going off on that. Yeah, even the mother was upset. So if that was y'all kid, what would y'all want to do? If that was y'all kid,
I know. I'm surprised he did it. I'm surprised he didn't get slapped. To be honest.
But if you're that type of wrestling fan and you see how these characters do, you would expect something like that will come in. You would expect something.
I don't think anyone can expect for someone to dump water on their kid while they're at a show. I think that's the last thing on somebody's mind.
It's not like he was like 2 or 3 years old, because if it was, that would have been a problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was like a full-grown kid, because I imagine that day he go to school, I mean, hey, kid. I had water pour on me by MJF. Look at my life.
All right. I to show him all the pictures. Hey, at the end of the day, MJF pouring water on that kid or pouring beer or whatever it was, got that kid backstage at AEW. Those tickets that they got wasn't cheap. I'll be looking at those seats. They weren't cheap, so they got an extra VIP experience. Thanks to MJF.
Yeah, they got a free ticket to that Dynamite, which was which was really good.
Thanks to MJF in the long run,
Yeah, but I know when I saw the tweets on social media, I understand some of the opinion, but you got to calm down. These writers they're actors too, so they got to perform. If you're a heel, you got to do scumbag stuff. You got to do that. That's part of their acting, where they're a heel or a baby face. So that's how it is. Even though I would be upset too, but as long as you don't touch one of the performers, you're good. Because that's one thing you got to understand, because we see in these times where one of the artists will go and attack a wrestler, and then you'll get thrown out and you get arrested. So don't be that person. So if you don't touch them, you're good. Let the bouncer higher ups deal with that wrestler. Okay, like that stuff happens. But the kid he got to meet his favorite wrestler, which was Powerhouse Hobbs, and he also got a free ticket on that Dynamite. And speaking of Dynamite, now, and we'll talk about Powerhouse Hobbs in a minute too, because he was in the main event, and which he won the Face of the Revolution ladder match to earn a TNT Jet Championship later on in the match tonight. We'll get that in a second. But in the opener, we had Orange Cassidy defending the soon to be renamed, and we'll get to that in a moment on in the show, the AEW All-Atlantic Championship against Jay Lethal. So this is the fourth week in a row that Orange Cassidy had opened up Dynamite this week. And before the match even started, when Jay Lethal's crew came out, all the referees came out, I'd say, get back in the back. We know what you're doing. Get back in the back, and all that other stuff. But this ain't the first time that Orange Cassidy and Jay Lethal has met. They met a couple of times on a Dynamite or a Rampage, so ain't nothing new here. But they still put on good matches as it is. But in the final moments of the match, we saw a thrust kick to the knee of Cassidy that led to Lethal trying to do the lethal interjection, but his injured shoulder from early on in the match had collapsed on him, and then Cassidy quickly capitalized and hit the orange punch, aka the Superman punch, to retain the title. And then after the match, Jay Lethal tried to attack Cassidy with the Golden Globe, but he was held off by the referee. And then Jeff Jarrett snuck up behind and hit the stroke on Cassidy, and then hit the guitar on Orange Cassidy's knee. Best Friends made the save as Jarrett bailed out, and it appears that Jeff Jarrett will be the next potential challenger for Orange Cassidy and for the All-Atlantic Championship.
Well, I guess we didn't get to that part of the show yet, but that championship has apparently leveled up. It's a level 2 championship now.
Oh yeah, and we'll get back to that championship in a second. But
Jay Lethal and Orange Cassidy are really fun to watch together.
Oh yeah, for sure. And they'll go. We're gonna have a discussion later on between the All-Atlantic Championship, the soon renamed title of it, and the TNT title. We'll get to that discussion in a second. And speaking of the TNT Championship, Renee Paquette was backstage with Powerhouse Hobbs, who said it was unfortunate to what happened to Wardlow. In case y'all didn't know, before the show happened, his car was broken in, his balloon was stolen, and his TNT title was stolen, and everything. I'm like, what scumbag?
That's crazy.
Would do that? Like, Wardlow can't catch a break. He can't catch a break.
Do you remember when Jericho lost the AEW title when he first won it?
But I think that was staged. That was staged, though. That was staged.
You think so?
I think it was.
He said it was left in the back of a limo. So I don't know how staged it was, but yeah, I remember when that first happened. This is kind of remind me of the same thing. Like, man, take the belt in the house with you.
Yeah, I don't know, but Power said it was unfortunate what happened to Wardlow, having his car broken in, his belongings stolen, and his TNT title. But he said tonight he's becoming the TNT champion. And then moving on from that, we got Ricky Starks making his way to the ring with a strong ovation. So before you can say what's next for him, the Bullet Club music hit to a huge pop. Everybody thought it was going to be Jay White, but nope, it was Juice Robinson. And he attacked Starks from behind and drops Starks with the left hand of God and DT to stand tall. So looks like Ricky Starks got a new rivalry in Juice Robinson. So did you think that Jay White was coming? Or did you expect someone else from the Bullet Club? Or did
You know, when I saw the Bullet Club pop up, I was like, whoa, like, what's going on? I'm actually pleasantly surprised that it's Juice Robinson. Juice Robinson is a wrestler that's been like, I remember him back in old NXT, so he's been somebody that I've been watching. And I think when he got to New Japan, like he really kind of found himself. And I really like his gimmick. I really like his character, like this badass kind of dude. I think he plays opposite really well to someone like Ricky Starks. So this is actually a really interesting pairing. And I'm excited to see these guys go. They're kind of in the same physique, kind of balanced. I like those kind of matches where one guy is just more aggressive and it makes the baby face come out to be more aggressive. So I'm excited to see these guys kind of go do a couple of matches.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then Tony Schiavone was backstage with Wardlow, asking where his head at after what happened to his car and his belongings. Wardlow said thanks to some friends, which is FTR, for some street clothes, and then challenges Hobbs to a Falls Count Anywhere Anything Goes match for their TNT Championship main event. So we up the ante on the main event.
Yeah. Hey, that's good pivoting, Oh, you don't have this stuff? Okay, we'll do this. So that's a really good pivot.
Oh yeah. And then back to the ring. Renee Paquette introduced Ruby Soho to the ring as she walked out with Toni Storm and Saraya, and she told them to stay in the back. Soho was booed loudly and told Paquette that the fans cheered this monster. When she wrestled Britt Baker in her first title match, the fans was thrilled she lost. When she wrestled Chris Stanley in the Owen Hart tournament, she was booed out of the building. Cut to Revolution. Jamie Hayter pinned her, and she realizes no one will ever come to her defense. Toni Storm and Saraya wasn't appreciated when they came to AEW by the net barriers, mouth-breathing fans, and the broken foundation of AEW is the entitled little shits rookies who think they deserve the world. Then Soho demanded her opponent, another homegrown talent, to come to the ring, and then Sky Blue ran in, and then the next match was on. So what are your thoughts on Ruby Soul's so I would say explanation to join the Outsiders?
I liked it. I liked it a lot. She she pleaded her case. I'm not gonna lie, like I remember I was saying like even when I wanted her to win, I didn't care if she did. So now that she a heel, I think it established her a little differently. Now the only thing, that Ruby Soho song is such a baby face, like happy kind of song. I don't know, they may want to do a darker version for her heel, but yeah, I liked her explanation, and I like heel Ruby. I think she's a better heel than a baby face.
But how long is she gonna stay a heel? That's the question. How long in this story?
We will see. We will find out. But I think the cool thing is that you got these, posts like pre WWE chicks, right? Versus the AEW originals. So you get this kind of WWE versus AEW kind of vibe from them because all those guys was associated with a different company. And I think it definitely kind of helps out a little bit. I think it kind of helps that all these guys are. I didn't see Ruby Soho joining, Britt Baker. The people that it looked like she's supposed to be with is the Saraya and Tony. So I like this grouping. I can't wait till it's a real name for them. I want to hear a real name for the group and like something like that. But I really liked, their this pairing of the three.
Well, they're basically they're slowly becoming I would say, the female version of the NWO when they be spraying painting people and other stuff. But yeah, for now, we just call them the Outsiders. So for now. But Soho wins, defeating Sky Blue with the designated unknown to get the win. And then after the match, Saraya and Toni Storm hit the ring. They all started to spray paint Blue before William Nightingale ran out to the ring. She tried to talk some sense into Soho, but it was tapped by behind by Stormis and Saraya. No future connection by Soho as they all spray paint both Blue and Nightingale. So you could tell the friendship with Willie Nightingale and Ruby Soho over, which we almost kind of enjoyed, but because we basically called them the Dudley girls. But in case of this storyline right now that we're having right now, it would make sense for to continue this tag team partnership if you're gonna go with the AEW homegrown talent versus the AEW outsiders right now. So they kind of put that that partnership on pause right now until this rivalry is over. Now, you asked, what other homegrown talent will join Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter? We put out a lot of politicians. We even said Carl Sheeta, because she's been part of this storyline for weeks now. And then who else we mentioned? We mentioned Jade could be part of this. Maybe another ex WWE star might come in to join the outsiders. We mentioned Mercedes Moné. Then she might debut at Forbidden Door. So there's a lot of possibilities. And we even said that this will culminate in the first ever women's blood and guts match. But we'll just have to see who's going to be helping out the homegrown talent and who's going to be joining the outsiders. So
that will be interesting to see, especially with like Mercedes, like you said, like how does that come along? Does she get? Is she just working New Japan, or would she be a part of this AEW kind of circle? So it's interesting to find out. But I hope this goes to the first women blood and guts match. That'd be a heck of a little show to see what they do in there.
All right. So backstage with Renee Paquette, she's with Heyman Adam Page. He asked her how he was doing. Page said, physically, he's been better, but Sunday he left his heart blackened because he had to do what had to be done. If you want to push him, he'll take you to hell and ride back out. Renee asked if this means that he and Moxley were finally done. Page apologizes to Paquette for what she had witnesses and not to blame him. But he said after this past Sunday, he finished with Moxley. Well, after what happened later on in the show, I think they're far from finished. I think
they're far. I don't know about that one.
So we had a video package of MJF backstage after his win at Revolution was shown. He tells the people who thought Bryan Danielson was on his level should get their brains shat. MJF has a horn coming on his forehead, and the back is no longer against the wall. Daddy is single in San Francisco. March 15th is his birthday, so he's gonna stroll into Winnipeg and have a party. His reign of terror has just begun. So we are announcing he's gonna have a so-called bar mitzvah celebration. So, but we all know that celebration ain't gonna go as planned. I do feel that someone's gonna come out and spoil the party for next week in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada.
Yeah, that's gonna be, Canada is such a great, wrestling country and such like these little hot spots of wrestling history. So I want to see if they do anything with the Harps, while they're in Canada. This is their first international show, which is going to be really exciting. But yeah, I'm excited to see what they do in Canada, since Canada is a huge wrestling town.
Well, they have been in Toronto already, but now they go into.
Oh yeah, they did Toronto. Okay.
Yeah, they're just going back to a different city and out in Canada, to a different city.
Gotcha. Okay, I thought I had missed one.
Yeah, and then back in the ring, Tony Schiavone introduced FTR, which they returned at Revolution. confronting the Gun Club. So they got a huge ovation from the crowd. Wheeler said, "It's great to be back, but for the last few months, it's been really rough. Talk about losing their titles that they had, and ultimately losing a close friend to the late Jay Briscoe." Wheeler brought up the Guns, called them the future of this division, but they are entitled assholes. He's going to teach them everything that Daddy Ash should have taught them, even though they don't have a famous dad that brought them to the company. But they worked their ass off to be one of the greatest tag team that they are. And then Harwood said he loves the fans, the injury so much. He loves his family. And then they said that they have to become the AEW tag team champions. They have to do it for the fans, for the Briscoes, and for themselves. So when I did the pay-per-view review on Revolution, so I pitched a couple of places that they can do FTR versus the Guns. They could do it on St. Patrick's Day Slam, and start building the rivalry up to Double or Nothing.
I think maybe if they do FTR versus As Boys Double or Nothing, it'll be good because it's that long buildup we have now, right? So everyone's gonna want to see FTR win. They could do it again, but then things, a distraction happens or whatever the hell. FTR beats if As Boys beat FTR again on the road to their championship match, then that makes it even harder for FTR, so that's even more embarrassing. But how great was the pop? How great was the fans? It looks good to see FTR back. It looked like they kind of explained why they were gone. Even though, like, you see reports saying that FTR was ready to get back in and ready to kind of was upset that it wasn't being used, and things like that. But it made sense why they were gone. Jay Briscoe did go, and that was a close guy to him. And then everything they've been doing, they've been working so hard. You kind of need that rest to come back better. But it's good to see them back. I'm happy. It's always good to see them back on screen. I think FTR is one of the best tag teams in the world, and it's always good to see them wrestle. Even in single matches, it's good to see them wrestle.
Oh yeah, for sure, and we can't wait for them to get back in the ring. And speaking of champions, Renee Parker was with Jay Cargill, the current TBS champion, undefeated TBS champion, correction, and with Leia Gray backstage. As Cargill said, she doesn't feel to be challenged. She's 53-0. So next week in Canada, she challenges the best that Canada has to offer to step up next week. And social media quickly said it could be Tyra Valkyrie. I don't know. We don't know who could be it. We don't know.
It could be. We don't know.
But the question is, could this be could this be a part of the homegrown versus the outsider storyline? We don't know. We just have to wait and see until next week. And then we go to a trios match with the JSS and Chris Jericho, Daniel Garcia, Sammy Guevara versus Top Flight and AR Fox.
AR Fox, real quick before we get into the match. AR Fox, he's one of those guys. He's so good in the ring, but you can tell like he's just really good at wrestling, and he's not really good at like being that sports entertainer, that charismatic, type of guy. He just likes to work. He is a workhorse. He just likes to be in the ring. You know what I mean? But I'm afraid that with this new group, this new trios group, with Darius, AR Fox, and my man's name. I want to say Devontae for some reason.
Yeah, Darius and
but with Darius Dante. I would say Devontae. Dante. But with Dante, I'm afraid that I think they may need like that manager mouthpiece type character. Either a woman or a charismatic guy. But I really do feel like Top Flight needs a manager that they can learn from. You know what I mean? They look great in the ring and look like they're having a good time and they're great baby faces, but I don't feel like I want to hear from them. Dante doesn't, he tried, he does decent on the mic. Darius, I thought would be the one to kind of really take that. But I think they need like a manager to really kind of finish that overall picture.
That sounds like a good idea. But yeah, the only one compliment they had as a trio when they won the I think the Christmas $1,000 bonus. I think that was the one accomplishment on their belt. But they're very good contenders to the trios title because they had banger matches with the Elite. So don't sleep on them. So we'll just have to wait and see where they're gonna go from here. But in the end, Dante countered the walls of Jericho, but was clubbed from the high by Hager with the Floyd baseball bat, and then Jericho hit the Judas event to steal the win. And then after the match, Angelo Parker called this the biggest trios win in AEW history, and to the light the beam. Matt Menard said this is the 1-year anniversary of the Jericho Appreciation Society. Garcia called themselves the #1 contenders for the trios titles, while Garcia called them all sexy. Hager said he still loved this sexy hat. And then Jericho calls out the House of Black. The lights went out, but instead of House of Black, it was the Elite. So Kenny Omega said for the better part of 3 years, they had stayed out of each other's lanes. Don Callis interrupts Omega and says the Elite established the trios titles and they are the rightful #1 contenders. Callis put over Jericho as one of the best, but only the second best Western for Winnipeg. I was like, oh, because people already know.
I was wondering why.
Because people know Kenny Omega is from Winnipeg too.
Yeah, I was wondering why Don Callis ran out the way he did just to kind of drop that line.
Yeah, and then Callis said if he had a couple of months to train, he'll be the third best. I'm like, oh, now they get personal here. Now they get personal here. And then Jericho called them to the ring, but the lights went out again. And then the House of Black was on the big screen saying, if you want these titles, the lights go out again. And when they came on, they were standing in between both teams. And he said, come and get them. And then the lights went out again. And then the House of Black disappeared.
So House of Black being involved with this trios match. Now we're going to get a 3-way trios match in Canada. So it is to wonder who may show up, who may pop up, what hijinks may occur. But how great do House of Black look as champs? They look like they should have been champs this whole time. The gold on them with their black outfits look really good together. So the aesthetic of House of Blacks being champs just look really good.
Yeah, I almost
and they look badass. They look like they just look badass. You can't put those guys on TV and don't think those are some badass dudes.
Yeah, I almost thought we was going to get a #1 contenders match between the Elite and the JSS after what happened between Jericho and Kenny Omega. I almost thought we'd get a #1 contenders match, but the triple threat match is definitely going to be a banger as well. But the triple threat match.
Yeah. I think House of Black is going to reign for a minute. I don't think they're going to get those belts up so quickly.
Yeah, and I think this is the first time that we had a triple threat multi-man match. I think the last time we had this kind of match in a certain environment was back at Survivor Series 2019, and that's when you had Raw versus SmackDown versus NXT. That's the kind of vibe I'm getting there.
Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah. And then moving on to remember we was talking about the future of the All Atlantic Championship. Well, it's got a new name. But Tony Khan said and announced that Orange Cassidy has asked for All Atlantic Championship match against Jeff Jarrett next week. Khan granted him the match, but it's going to be a milestone match for AEW, being in a partnership with Warner Brothers Discovery and the new Shazam movie Fury of the Gods, which is going to be released on March 17th. The All Atlantic Championship will now be renamed as the AEW International Championship, saying that the title has been leveled up. And then we got a new trailer for the new Shazam movie with clips of Jarrett and Cassidy in it. So, what are your thoughts on the All Atlantic Championship being renamed as the International Championship? And are you hyped for Shazam Fury of the Gods?
That was I'll take the championship first. Yeah, better name. It kind of reminds me of Intercontinental International. I mean, when that first came out, everyone was, clowning that it was the All Atlantic and had the idea like, well, that's not in the ocean and this part is Pacific. But that's all fixed now. It leveled up to the International Championship, which just makes more sense, So I guess someone just couldn't deal with it no more. Like, we got to stop calling it the All Atlantic. We just got to. I just can't take this anymore. So now it's the International Championship. But I think it makes sense. It's not a big difference. They don't have to change the belt, just change the name, and we're good to go. I think the International Championship has been doing a good job of starting the show. It seemed like they've been opening with Orange Cassidy a lot with the International Championship. Already it sounds better, just international, but I think that's a good belt to kind of be a good, beginning show kind of title to kind of defend. So no problem with the name change.
All right. And then we got a video package.
Shazam.
Yeah.
I'm not too excited about Shazam. I might wait till it come out on streaming to watch. I don't think I'm gonna go to the movies to go catch it.
Okay, fair enough. We got a video package of Bryan Danielson after his post Iron Man match is shown backstage saying MJF was right. And Danielson thought in this first incident when he woke up being unconscious was he needed to fight. Danielson realized that he couldn't feel his arm, and it was dawned on him what Matt had said. He won't be able to play with his kids. He tapped and made him more ashamed than anything else. He said that it's time to go home. So after he said that, there could be two things. He's either gonna retire for good or go back to the E. Go back to the E. Or maybe just take some time off.
Yeah, I think it might just be a little bit of a break. I think Danielson already came out and said AEW will be the last promotion he wrestled for. So I don't think he's going to leave and go back anywhere. But I think that was a good part of the story. Because he can always come back and said, I thought MJF was right. But when I looked at my wife in her eyes and she told me blah, 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 so that can be kind of explained away. But I think definitely that was the best kind of like emotional performance from Bryan Danielson I've seen as far as like promo goes. And it was cool that they did it right after the match where he was still bloody and still hurt. But really good explanation of why he tapped so quickly. So that's like showing that they put some thought into the finish, and not only the finish, but why that finish is, why he did it that way. So that's putting some real forethought into it. So it is crazy to hear him say MJF was right. But yeah, really, really good explanation of why he tapped the way he did.
Yeah. And then we don't know where his allegiance go as far as the BCC, the Blackpool Combat Club, but I don't know. But speaking of the Blackpool Combat Club, we saw John Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli go against Alex Reyes and John Silver of the Dark Order. So in the final moments of the match, Reyes maintained an onslaught until Silver made the hot tag with a fast offense on Moxley and then dropping with a German suplex. Silver blocked the kick and poured down elbow strikes until Moxley sank in the triangle choke, with Silver countered into a crossface with knees. Silver and Reyes tried their wound combo, but Moxley cut it off with a rear naked choke on Reyes and then translated into the dare choke to get him to submit. After the match, Moxley again sank in a rear naked choke as Castagnoli backed off with referee Rick Knox before gushing in Silver to the floor and a bulldog choke on Reyes by Moxley, leading to Evil Uno to hit the ring, and then but Castagnoli ordered Yuta to get in the ring and stop him as he obeyed his orders. Heyman Adam Page rushed into the ring to check on his friends, but it was tapped by Moxley, Castagnoli, and Yuta. Referees hit the ring to separate everyone. So we got a slow heel turn on the Blackpool Combat Club, which I don't mind.
We did.
I would like to see a healed Blackpool Combat Club. But my question is, could this lead to the men's Blood and Guts match? Could this lead?
Yeah, it definitely could. Dark Order versus BCC. I think so. First off, I love Alex Reynolds and John Silver. I think that combination they have together as a team, where Silver kicks him and John punches, and then Silver, and then they do the stunner, and then go into the German right into a roll up. I think that whole combination is great. I love seeing it, and I love the Dark Order. I don't know the direction of the Dark Order right now, but I hope they get some kind of direction and not just be like the funny guys all the time. Even though I love their comedy, but I don't want them to be the funny guys all the time, because they are an OG AEW group, and it'd be even cool if Evil Uno take things darker and said we need to get back to who we were, type of deal, and become that dark kind of group. But also, you also have House of Black, who kind of has that space right now as well. But this was really good to see this kind of heel turn. Castagnoli even, pushing the ref out of the way while Mox was beating him up, and then it was weird when Hangman came in. It seemed like nobody wanted to touch him, but then he started touching people. It was kind of odd. Like John, I thought John Mox and him was going to go right at it, but they didn't. So, but yeah, this could lead to more. I thought we were done with the Moxley and Hangman rivalry, but apparently not. They're going to use Dark Order and Hangman to shift Blackpool Combat Club to be in their more heel roles.
Yeah, because that's why I even said that on the pay-per-view show, and I do believe that that the BCC will be turning heel just by off when you saw when Orange Cassidy was going for the hug or for Wheeler Yuta, but Cardio says like get your butt over here, boy. Get your butt over here, boy. Get your butt over here, boy.
Yeah, I was trying to watch Yuta to see how he was going to react, and he was pretty much just taking orders.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see where that's going to lead to, and speaking of that, we got matches announced for Rampage, and which is Sammy Guevara versus Axel Andretti. In case y'all know, that came about after Revolution. The Acclaim will be in action. Kota Takesha will take on Preston Vance, and then Rio versus Nyla Rose. And then next week's Dynamite, we got Orange Cassidy versus Jeff Jarrett for the AEW International Championship. MJF celebrated with his rebar Bispa. And then the House of Black versus the Elite versus the JSS for the AEW trios titles.
I think they'll be a good Rampage.
Yeah, but we'll see though. And then after that, Renee Paquette was backstage with the Acclaim, and Daddy Ass says, "What's next for them?" As Bowen said that the tag team titles are next, which brought out Matt Menard and Angelo Parker. Says they love their rap music, and they said the Acclaim are sports entertainers at heart and offer them a spot to join JSS. But the Acclaim laugh in their faces, saying they are more TV more than Menard and Parker, and walk off. Shoot, that's how I feel about freaking Matt Menard and Parker. They can get off my TV screen as well. They can get off my TV.
That was hilarious. He said, "We're on TV more than you guys. Get away from us."
Yeah, that's the truth. Get the heck off my TV. Get the hell off my TV.
But again, this is after Revolution, so some new matchups, some new matches that we haven't seen yet. So you never know; they might have good chemistry in the ring.
Yeah, and then the main event, Powerhouse Hobbs challenging Wardlow for the TNT Championship, which was now a falls count anywhere, anything goes match. So the crowd seemed to enjoy this match from start to finish, but it kind of felt like a odd choice and a letdown at times. But we'll explain why in a second. But in the final moments of the match, struggling to get on his feet, Wardlow dragged Hobbs up to the ramp as Wardlow won a powerbomb off the stage. But QT Marshall appeared and clocked Wardlow with a chair repeatedly. Marshall was wearing a QTV shirt, and I really thought that, oh wait, is this like a new thing, or maybe stuff he be doing on Dark or Elevation? I don't know. But Marshall and Hobbs powerbomb Wardlow off the stage, which thankfully wasn't that brutal or scary when Wardlow did it to Anna Jay on a rampage. But the referee pulled out the 10 count, as the rules of the match was you can win by pinfall submission or cannot answer the referee's 10 count. So Wardlow couldn't get up, and then Hobbs wins the title, and then said and Taz said QT Marshall had been on TV for months, and he said his word was his bond. And then Marshall celebrated with Hobbs to close the show. So with that ending there, even though I thought it was stupid at first, but it is long-term storytelling. Yeah, in case y'all remember, Hobbs did help out QT Marshall to help win against I think it was Ricky Starks. And then so this was like QT Marshall's get back for her Lenny Hobbs doing his thing. So he had to pay Hobbs back, and then that's what led him to win the TNT Championship there. That I understand, because that's storytelling there. But my issue with the TNT Championship and where it's been going. So going back to the new international championship and how Orange Cassidy has been defending the title, I feel that the AEW All Atlantic Championship is the like you said, the main card intercontinental championship, because ever since the TNT Championship was introduced, we thought that was going to be the Intercontinental Championship, but no, I felt that has gone to the AEW International Championship, and once Orange Cassidy has been done, because what the things that's been happening with the TNT Championship lately after the Cody Rhodes and Sammy Guevara rivalry, that thing, it's been hot potato like crazy. First it was Sammy, then it was I think it was Scorpio Sky, then Sammy Guevara, then Scorpio Sky again, then Wardlow, then Samoa Joe, then Darby Allin, then Samoa Joe again, then Wardlow, and now Powerhouse Hobbs. Now, I understand why Samoa Joe wanted off Darby Allin, because they wanted to try and continue the story with Wardlow. But if you're gonna make Wardlow win the title, and then why make him lose to Powerhouse Hobbs. Yeah, like I like we kind of understand where it's going here, but like with the title being hot potato, that's like that title been that passed on like a $5 hooker. Like that makes no sense at all. Like, but I got to give up to Hobbs. Like we all know he's going to be a championship soon. I am proud for Powerhouse Hobbs, but I just hope he don't lose it like anytime soon. I want him to have at least a decent reign with the title and try to make it the TNT Championship more prestigious again. That's what I want for now. But what are your thoughts on the TNT Championship being hot potato, and your thoughts on Powerhouse Hobbs winning the TNT Championship, and where did you see Warlow going from this again?
So yeah, congratulations to Hobbs. Not going to take anything away from him. You're right. The TNT title does tend to be the one that's a hot potato. They tend not to do that with the other titles, which is good, but this one is the one that seems to go back and forth. Also, the thing is, like with the TNT titleship, right, championship, right? If they're changing names, maybe we change that one to something else because we are no longer on TNT. I mean, just for Rampage. So do it needs to be the TNT championship any longer. But is that championship that I think is for that B crowd or that B division, somebody ahead of the B division. And then the international one is more for these international shows that they're about to get ready to start doing, it's just it's that thing, right, where it's like he just won it Sunday and now it's off of him already Wednesday. That seems a little quick. And now he gets to be a 2-time TNT champion without it, but maybe that's what this championship is designed for, so we can have those shocking title changes that they don't want to do with like the AEW championship, right? Because you do need that belt that might be the one that people get shocked when, because like listen, like with every AEW championship match, right, at a pay-per-view, we always kind of knew when it would drop or not, right? And like it usually happened when the fans were ready for that belt to be dropped to a new champion. Think about like with Mox giving it to Hangman, um, you know, Hangman giving it over. Like it's always been like at that moment where we were ready for a new champion. So that one can't flip flop as much, As soon as that one starts flip flopping, it really loses credibility. The TNT Championship, first off, is TNT is based on a TV network. So what happens to TV networks? You change channels. So I can see why this one is the one that flip flops a lot between, but the other ones are building prestige. So this one is the one they can do a title change on TV. There has never been, so as far as my knowledge, an AEW title change on a regular TV. Usually you had to pay to see that. This is a belt that they can have drop on regular TV more often.
Yeah, but do you think the AEW International Championship has more prestige than the TNT title?
It's starting to, but that's because of the champion. You know what I mean? That's because of the champion. Not saying Powerhouse Hobbs can't go do a TNT run that brings back prestige to it, brings back like people should care about it. I wasn't. I mean, and that's not saying Samoa Joe didn't do that, but I mean, Samoa Joe dropped it to Darby. Darby dropped it back to Samoa Joe. And if you look at the origins of this belt, with Cody dropping it to Darby, and Darby dropping it to Cody, and giving it to Brody, and all the other stuff, that's kind of what this belt is designed to do. Is designed to have this. I would say the TNT Championship is the Dynamite's championship. Like first off, it's TNT, it's Dynamite. So it's the belt that's meant to be changed hands on free TV. And the AEW belt is the one meant to change hands on pay-per-views. So this is the belt that can be changed on Dynamite. Now, I'm not saying I agree with the frequency of it, but that's always been the origin of the belt.
Yeah, but with Powerhouse Hobbs being the champion, we can now see Jungle Boy and even Ricky Starks going after the title right now.
Oh yeah, true. Jungle Boy's made it clear that he's looking for gold. So, I mean, would you say Powerhouse? Yeah. Now you're right, because now that it's more of a heel type champion and Powerhouse, a good baby face against Powerhouse would be a Jungle Boy or Ricky Starks. So you're absolutely right. It maybe opens it up, because like, who would Wardlow go against other than just like more Powerhouse? Brian Cage, or the opponents for Wardlow is definitely different than the opponents for Powerhouse.
Yeah, because I don't know who's taking the international championship of Orange Cassidy anytime soon, but we'll see how that goes, and but yeah, but
It was
congratulations.
definitely a shock. I'll tell you that much. I was not expecting for them to drop the belt so soon. So that was definitely a shocker to me. Like, and the involvement with QT, I'm a fan of QT. I met him personally a couple of times, so I'm just a fan of him. I went to his show here in Atlanta, the District. So I like his work, and I think he's a great heel. He's hilarious. So I like watching him work. So I'm not too mad at him coming out of nowhere after not seeing him for months. But I'm excited to see what they do with him. Hopefully he has a bigger role.
Yeah, I understand why Small Joe had to drop the TNT Championship, because he was still the ROH World Television Champion, and I'm pretty sure they have something planned for him for the Super Carter Honor pay-per-view as part of WrestleMania weekend. So I kind of understand why he dropped the TNT title there. But
right.
But yeah. Once again, congratulations to Powerhouse Hobbs becoming the new the TNT champion. And like I said, next week we'll be in Winnipeg as we start the road to Double or Nothing, and which is Memorial Day weekend. But we'll see if we'll get some announcements for any special shows from now till then. We'll see if we get.
Yeah, we're excited to see it. Also, they got the AEW All Access coming out soon. Seeing behind the scenes of some of our favorite wrestlers. So I'm seeing, I saw Kyle O'Reilly in the trailer. I'm like, oh, this is like from a couple of months ago, from a while back ago. So yeah, we got to see what happens there.
I think my question is, will this get a lot of attention like Crossroads did?
Well, I hope it's better than Crossroads.
We'll see. But that's our review today. Let me know what was your thoughts on Revolution and the fallout of Revolution, and let me know what your thoughts there. And don't forget to follow us on our separate social medias. And of course, we always be talking about Empty. We almost done soon. We post production. Just keep update with us, and then we'll keep you guys updated on the what's happening. And then also don't forget to follow Respect the Comment podcast every week, and then also Tricology News Talk every week, so y'all can keep updated about everything what's going on. But any final thoughts you want to plug in, Liam?
No, not at all, guys. Keep listening to the podcast. Keep commenting. Let us know what you think we should do. If there's any suggestions on how we can get better, let us know. But yeah, looking forward to guys. If I go to the show in May, I'll post pictures. I'll put stuff up and maybe make even like a little vlog for the YouTube channel. so you guys can see my experience as I go through it. So hopefully we get a chance to get that done. But rather than that, keep following the page, keep liking, keep supporting.
Yep, I can't wait to see those pictures. But other than that, here's Leland, and I'm Trico, and we'll see y'all soon, y'all.
Peace.